Well, this year, y'all, my garden has been the gift that continues to give. But with this heat wave, I think we are about finished. So please excuse the crows having a crow fest in the background. But y'all may notice my Kajari melons are here. And this is probably as large as they're going to get. I have 2 or 3 of them. Yeah, 3. There's one right here too. A squirrel got in here and was happily burying his nuts and did some damage to my vines. So I don't know if they will fully ripen. So I'm just gonna leave those be and we will see. These are the sunflowers. They're about as tall as me that I planted late summer, probably in July, but they are doing quite well. So maybe we'll have some pretty sunflowers for the fall. And the biggest thing that you're going to notice, ooh, and here's a wasp, y'all. You see that wasp? Go on with yourself. My pumpkins, while I still have pumpkins on the vine, let's see if I can find, okay, it's right, sorry guys, it's right there. A lot of my vines are starting to wane. So as things get ripe, and I still have some very green pumpkins as well. And I've harvested about a dozen already. I will be leaving those, just hanging until they are ripened. And I believe that is a pie pumpkin, but I think everything else here, here's another one, are just jack-o'-lanterns. But do y'all spy what I spy? You see it, y'all? There's one. And there's a little one here. And there's a great big one I use for my thumbnail. These are the loofah. So there's a great big one right there. Oh, and there's another one. So these have really sprung up and seem to be thriving in the crazy heat. This bed is empty. My butternut squash, there are a few left in the beds, but only a very few. They have matured with this heat wave. The peppers, pretty much done here. These are. I still have my crazy, crazy tomatoes. So I have quite a few green left on the vine. I will continue to let these mature. I still even have blooms. But yes, I have probably harvested and preserved, I probably have a close to 150 tomatoes off the vine at this point, but I don't recommend doing it this way. Have some gorgeous zinnias. My sunflowers are finishing up that I planted early on in the season. Mr. Crow. I still have some sweet peppers and banana peppers. So that's pretty much, and this here is just weeds, guys. So truth of the matter. So that's what my garden is looking like end of season. So the girls are a little afraid of those crows, although I don't think they would hurt them. But they all ran in here. And we've got one in the laying box. So, not sure where they're coming from. Well, I know that was probably the fastest tour that you've ever had of my garden, right? And I'm going to tell y'all a little secret. I'm a little under the weather today. Not really sick, not really sure what's going on. Today would have been Mom's 88th birthday. It's Tuesday today, and I need to get back on my regular video schedule, so I thought I'm gonna do my best to try to get on here and give y'all an update. and the big update in the background. So, yes, indeed, I ended up with the 1951 Philco G923 refrigerator. So my cousins offered to allow me to buy it, with the understanding that when I'm done with it, or if I get tired of it or whatsoever, that they have the first right to take it back. And then of course they do. And I thought it was a good way to help my aunt and help me at the same time. Y'all, this thing is so awesome. So let me show you quickly. Just quickly, because it's so awesome. So it has the pull down handle, and y'all don't look at how I'm dressed, because I'm not dressed very nicely. I wasn't gonna stand up. Let me show y'all. So it is just pristine on the inside, just absolutely lovely. Works like a dream. Has never been worked on, never had a problem. So I'm super glad to have that. And y'all may be wondering, what does your shirt say? So I wanted to give a quick shout out to Sober Gang, which is a local ministry that one of my girlfriend's sons has organized. They are selling the shirts. If you want information about how you can get a shirt, I know that you can get it through Facebook. And guys, you don't have to be in recovery or have had a problem to be a help. I wanted to contribute, and so I told him I would wear the Sober Gang shirt. It has some messages on the back. I'm not really sure what all this is, but it's really, really cool. And it's quite comfortable. So I'll leave a link in the description box to the Facebook group, and you can just ask about how you can get a shirt if you're local. I don't know that they're shipping them. So one of the questions that I was asked a lot, both from my family and just from people who are my age that are also dealing with aging parents, was, which way do you think was best? Doing an estate sale where you priced and attended every day, having an auction company come in and take it out, or number 3, having an estate sale company to come in and do the work for you. So I wanted to share just a little bit of information with you. I'm gonna take a sip here, and I'll be right back and give you my thoughts. All right, y'all, remember, as I said, this is gonna be a short video today. I'm just not feeling 100%, but I feel good enough to do a video, right? So that is 3 ways that you might think about if the estate. And what I can say is, in my situation where I hired an auction company to come in, empty out the house after I went through everything, and sell it, a lot of it was sold in lots, you're gonna spend about 50% of whatever you make is going to go to the moving, the advertising, the storage of the items until the auction, and then the seller's premium, which is usually around 30%. So what I would say is, if you don't have the physical ability or plenty of help, just knowing that up front. And if you do an estate sale at the house, the premium is, some places are 40, some are 50. And you also have to deal with people being in and out of the house. A little bit more problem with things walking off, although we had no problems with that. I think the way that you walk away with the most money is, of course, to do all the work yourself. But what I wanted to say was, my aunt had a very unique estate. First of all, everything in that home was pristine. So we weren't cleaning things and restoring things. They were as found, well cared for. She also had things very organized. And while we all have our dirty little secrets, in closets and such, it really wasn't a huge mess. I was able to accomplish a lot of things in a very short amount of time because things had been well cared for. In my mom's situation, having had dementia, having been on her own for for about 12 years at the time of the estate sale, that made it so that I had to go through every single drawer, every single item. You couldn't assume anything. And there were a lot of things that had not been well cared for. And that's not a slam on my parents in any way. It's just the situation that my mom was in. So I would say if money is your bottom line and you can do it yourself, y'all don't say no to people helping you. I know it was easier for me because although I might have been attached to the refrigerator, I hugged it every day. They would laugh at me. I'd come in and give it a big hug because I loved this. But if you don't have that sentimental attachment, it's a lot easier to price things and let it go, or to group them, or to mark it down. And also, estate sales don't necessarily bring high dollar, nor do auctions. There's no guarantee unless you put a reserve. What they actually did is on things like the refrigerator, the table and chairs, there were a few other pieces. They marked firm. So day one, everything was full price, best selection. Day two, things were 25% off, a little less of a selection. Day three was a free-for-all. It was half off, except for the items marked firm. And then on a couple of those items, even the refrigerator, we entertained offers. We didn't get any, I'm just saying. So when you advertise your sale, advertising it to the group you're selling. So this was a mid-century modern charmer house, as well as a lot of the findings in here. And it was really interesting. It wasn't just people my age that maybe grew up with some of this. It was a lot of the very young who are really into the mid-century. So I think advertising it that way really helped. We did utilize numbers day one because they line up like an hour before. And also, guys, have bags, boxes, anything like that. I have always taken my own to an estate sale, but there was maybe 2 people out of the hundreds of people that went through there that actually had their own carry away type bags. I would also say be willing to wheel and deal. Have maybe 1 or 2 people that, especially on the last day, if you're not wanting to keep all that stuff, that are responsible for pricing. So I was able to say, well, I'm just a cousin, but I can take you to my aunt's children. So those 2 made the pricing, and it went beautifully. I can't say anything negative about how the sale went. What I can say is this girl's getting old. And I think that's why I don't feel well today, y'all. So I stayed pretty busy Sunday getting everything caught up that I hadn't gotten done through the week. And I'm also not accustomed to eating out, y'all. And we had carry-in several days. And that could be partly why my stomach's been kind of a wreck. So at any rate, I'm not ill. I'm just old. But I hope that gave you some good pointers if you are thinking about downsizing or getting rid of some items even in your own home. I would definitely, if you can, do it yourself. Also, one more point. Don't hold things for people, y'all. We sold a dining room set that was separate from what you all saw, I think 5 times. Because people were like, well, I want that. Can you hold it for me? No. You can say, I will take a deposit, and it's non-refundable if you don't show up to get it. But then you end up waiting on people. So that was a slight issue, but ultimately we sold, I would say 95% of what was at the house. So that was a good thing. So I hope you all are going to enjoy my Philco refrigerator as much as I am. I will be back later this week. Y'all, I had promised you some crafts, so let me share what happened. So I had ordered like these triple light up pumpkins, 2 of them to put out front. They came shattered in a bazillion pieces, and none of the local Joann fabric stores have them, and they're out of stock for shipping. So that craft we won't be doing. I do have a couple others that I do have planned for probably next week, and I'll get to it. I can't let the garden stuff. I've got to do tomatoes again, unless I can do a knock and drop. Get rid of some. Oh, y'all, never thought I'd be this over tomatoes. It's just hard for me to waste food, but I would love to hear. Drop me a comment below. Are your gardens waning down? What zone are you in? I'm in 6A, so that might give you an idea. We're supposed to be well up in the 90s for the remainder of the week with super high humidity levels. We're under heat advisory, all the things. So I'll be keeping a close eye on my girls. They'll get some ice water and some frozen corn this week. All right, I will see you on Saturday, Lord willing. But until then, be healthy, be well, be blessed, take care.